We have begun the biggest challenge in Football Manager, the Pentagon Challenge. And so far, after getting jobs in Egypt, we have managed to qualify for the African Champions League for the first time. However, this is a best of 5 situations. Whoever wins it first means the other can't also win it. And I'm also not allowed to win a Champions League with a club who has already won the same competition before. But we have settled in Egypt and built good teams so far and have finally qualified in the same season. So to prepare for Season 4 and the Champions League, Dad has spent big money on Ahmed Aid, an Egyptian right-back for 2.2 million, as well as Ayman for 100k, who's a very good centre-back for that price, alongside 2 Colombian players on free transfers that will help his team in the African Champions League. And Dad was setting up in a 4-2-2 and preparing mid-August for African Champions League preliminary qualification rounds, which we both found ourselves in. Dad is playing against Vipers, a Ugandan team from East Africa, while I'm up against Diables Noirs, a side from the Congo in Central Africa. And although both of us were favourites in our respected fixtures, I needed to add to my team with quality like Ishmael, who joined halfway through the season last year from Arsenal. And like Dad, I had a free transfer from South America in Bogil, who joined the club, as well as 2 Egyptians, one being Medhat, who cost me 1.4 million, and the other being Ayoub from National Bank, who was a bargain at just 76k. But I'm keeping the tactic the same, as this is what got me qualification in the first place as we look to the preliminary rounds. In Dad's matches, South American players shone at home in the first leg, coming together to assist and score 2 of his 3 goals in a comfortable 3-0 first leg win. It was a completely different story for my side, despite having our first leg also being played at home as well, as Diables Noirs dominated us for shots and beat us on the day 3-2. So while Dad was qualifying for the next round with another 2-1 win, I again was left looking a little embarrassed, as we somehow lost the second leg as well 3-1, which meant we are completely out of the African Champions League this season. Dad had to play another round to qualify for the group stage, but comfortably got through 11-2 on aggregate against a team from Niger. So this season, Dad has a serious chance at the African Champions League, while I'm not even in the competition. And instead, I've got to focus on my league form again to try and qualify next year. In Dad's group for the Champions League is the Moroccan side Raja Casablanca, the Angolan side Juan de Agosto, and finally Stade d'Abidjan from the Ivory Coast. And the first 3 matches have gone extremely well for Dad, picking up 3 wins to be top of the group. Meanwhile in Egypt, me and Dad are currently locked in a race for the title, but Al Ali are still 4 games less than us and lurking. Dad got through the group stage with ease in the Champions League, and his next opponent was TP Mazembe from DR Congo, where Dad put 1 foot into the semi-finals with a 4-0 away win in the first leg, where Rodriguez scored 2, securing that semi-final spot with a 4-1 home win. But now he faces Al Ali in the semi-finals. And they are also tracking down Dad for the league title still. A first leg at home, and it's bad news for Dad as Al Ali steal a 1-0 victory to take to their ground for the second leg. However, in that second leg, Dad's side scored an equaliser, taking this game to extra time and penalties. That side unfortunately missed their second and third penalty back-to-back, which meant after they scored their 4th, they needed their keeper to save the next 2, but Al Ali scored and knocked Dad out. They also came back to claim the league title as well by 3 points. At least Dad did get his own back by winning the League Cup and beating them 2-1 in that competition, scoring 2 goals in the 90th and the 96th minute. Not that Al Ali cared probably, as they went on to win another African Champions League trophy.
Dad, quite an unfortunate year really for you.
Oh, so close. I thought
Losing
I had
on
it.
penalties.
I thought if I win this game, I've got it.
Yeah. Sundowns in the final. Al Ali defeated them 5-3. What makes it worse is, all right, they went on and won the league. They only beat you by 3 points, though.
Yeah.
What makes it worse is you then played them in the League Cup and beat them 2-1.
Yeah.
2 very late goals, granted, but you still got the job done.
I knew I had the beating of them. The semi-finals over 2 legs, I think they beat me at home and I beat them on their ground.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
Penalty shootout.
I thought the home game was the more important one for me, really. I needed to get a win there.
Yeah, you lost it.
By
It's
2
weird.
goals. I thought if I'd won that game 2-0, I thought it'd been in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, so
You're on
so
such a good run as well.
I
And then
was
the
on-
run
yeah.
before it, the whole month before.
And I was scoring goals. That's why I felt so confident coming up to that game. I was scoring goals.
Yeah.
And to lose 1-0 at home, I thought but I've done the business at their ground. But penalties, it can be anybody's game then, can it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the trouble. Beat them in the League Cup, though. I think you definitely qualified for the next season. I think I might have qualified for the preliminary rounds as well, finishing in 3rd place. 67 points. I just can't believe I got eliminated to begin with at the beginning. Didn't even make the group stage. What was happening there? I lost to Diables Noirs in both legs from Central Africa, the Congo.
Yeah. It's such a shame, because I could have really done with you playing against Ali and beating them, really. So, but it didn't happen. So
no, but it does give me a bit of a lifeline, because that was there for the taking there. Now I've got a second shot at it, going into the next season, and we've got some okay money as well. I've got £3 million to spend. You've got, how much have you got again? £1.7 million. I mean, we've got good squad now, and what we've noticed as well, I mean, you got 38 goals there for Agustin Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. But we're signing more and more foreign players, not just for the league anymore. Because when you get into the actual African Champions League, you can put as many in as you like.
Yes, so I was like virtually picking another team of foreigners, really. Like we said, we can have a full team of foreigners, really.
Yeah.
I know it's wrong, but if you can bend a rule, you bend it.
Yeah, well, it's not bending the rule. You're allowed to do it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, I mean, Reynoso's developing quite nicely into a good player as well. Yeah. So you've got some decent players in there.
Some good Egyptian players that I've got in the team still.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of good foreign players that I couldn't play in the league.
Yeah. Same for me as well. I mean, I've got majority of Egyptian players, a couple of Ivory Coast players, a couple of South American players as well. But my best player is technically my goalkeeper and my left back. And they're both Egyptian.
Yes, very good.
So I need to look at bringing in better foreign players. I need to do what you're doing. And that's why you probably progressed through the competition, and I didn't. So that's something that I'll be looking to do this summer, or this pre-season anyway, before we do the preliminary rounds of next season.
Prepare myself for a better result in the qualifiers. I brought in 6 players, with Nigerian Obalor being the first and most expensive for only 550k. Tunisian Fajari also joined the club too as another option for my strike force for 500k. The rest of the signings included 3 free transfers, as well as an Egyptian goalkeeper from NP for just £46,000. But all of these signings slightly strengthened my first team in multiple positions, and I've decided to go with a 3 at the back formation, using Obalor as an overlapping centre back and Fajari as a target forward this season. Dad brought Egyptian left back El Shami from Al Ali for 725k, a 20-year-old with bags of potential. His best signing, however, was Gaston Soare, a Senegalese defensive midfielder, for just 165k, a bargain with crazy mentals for a 19-year-old. He of course picked up 3 free transfers from South America to add to his squad depth. He's setting up in a 4-2-2 formation, but out of possession, dropping into a 4-2-3-1 with the qualifying rounds to come up. The team I've got to face is a side from South Sudan in East Africa, and again, I really should be beating this team looking at the quality of their key players. While Dad has got ASC Kara from Togo in West Africa, the fixture he feels confident with. This time for me, things were a little simpler in the first round, as we pulled off a big 4-1 win first leg away from home and topped it off with a 5-0 second leg to cement our spot in the second qualifier. And Dad was in a similar situation with a 5-0 first leg home win and a 2-2 draw in the second leg away from home. That then put Dad against Congolese side AS Atoho, while I had to face APR FC from Rwanda. And thankfully for me, the first time I qualified for the group stage with an 8-0 aggregate score across 2 legs. And Dad's joining me, winning his 2 legs 7-0 on aggregate to progress through. Dad was drawn into Group B alongside Ali Tripoli of Libya, Kabuscorp of Angola, and the toughest opponent in his group, Wydad Casablanca of Morocco. I had a harder group, ASEC Mimosas and Stade Abidjan of the Ivory Coast, as well as Sundowns of South Africa, who were of course the finalists last year and winners the year before. My first fixture was against ASEC Mimosas away from home, and we pulled off a cracking 1-0 victory in the Ivory Coast thanks to Ref Eye's goal. A 4-2 loss at home to Sundown though set us back, but we recovered well against the Abidjan at home, winning 3-0 to give us 6 points. And we were still top of the group because Sundown somehow drew both of their other fixtures. Dad was on a winning spree though, and he had comfortably won all 3 of his first group stage fixtures, meaning he was clean favourites to carry on through as the group winner. He did lose his next fixture against Wydad Casablanca 4-0, but followed it up with 2 emphatic victories with lots of goals from Velishkovsky to take that top spot by 6 points in Group B. I suffered a second defeat in South Africa to Sundowns, losing 3-2 in my fourth fixture. But that only spurred us on in our two remaining fixtures to get the job done and take away the 6 points that we had hoped for. And lucky for us, Sundowns lost their sixth match, which meant we even stole top spot back in the final game. Quarterfinals of the African Champions League, and the trophy was in sight. Maybe more so for Dad because of his opponents were Kano Pillars of Nigeria. However, I had the incredibly tricky task of playing Al Ali, our Egyptian rivals and holders of the competition. Although in the league campaign I was ahead of them by 3 points and on the same amount of games, while Dad was just 3 points behind the leaders with 5 games in hand. But our sole focus was on the quarterfinals, and Dad's first leg ended 0-0 in Nigeria, meaning it was all to play for in the second leg, and Dad's star man Velikoski scores the opener on the 13th minute to give him the lead with a big header. However, Kano Pillars came back fighting. They weren't out of it yet, and they scored 2 goals either side of half-time to put Dad's side on the ropes and on the brink of elimination through 2 worldy strikes by Umar. Luckily, Dad had some time and Sarmiento scored 5 minutes later. And at 2-2 in the 95th minute with one last attack, Dad's star boy from North Macedonia bags the winner. My quarterfinals began with the away fixture too, and it stayed 0-0 until the 88th minute when I thought Uato got us a big winner. But I was wrong, and Al Ali turned on the afterburners and Sadek scored a 90th minute equaliser, which meant things were level going to our home ground against the continent's best club. And just 20 minutes on the clock, I thought we were done for as they dominated us and then scored. But we stayed in the game. The second half began and we let them on the ball. We countered them well and got the ball down the left-hand side where we're strongest, and a great cross found the header forward for Jari to score. From then it was cagey, but there was still time for a goal, and that's when Kevin Uato popped up again in the 89th minute to score us the winner. All of that drama just to get to the semi-final. And in an ironic fashion, it was against Wydad Casablanca, who were in Dad's group, while he was then playing Sundowns in his semi-final, who were in my group. Once again, a cagey first leg for me, being played in Morocco with a notorious intimidating atmosphere, but we came out of the fixture on level terms again with a late 88th minute equaliser thanks to the youngster Rafai. Dad's first leg was at home, and he was hoping to make the most out of the situation against a tough opponent, and Velikoski got the opener, and Dad's defence stayed strong before they got a second from the spot. Taking a 2-goal advantage into the second leg, Dad needed to stay defensively strong, but 9 minutes in and they've allowed Sundowns a goal already. And just 9 minutes after that, it's 2 as Philly evens the aggregate score. Thankfully for Dad's, that's what his team needed to get things going, and they scored a winner through a set piece to go through to the final, winning 3-2 on aggregate. Meaning it was down to me to meet him there, and with the scores at 1-1 with the home leg to play, we were confident, and all we needed was 1 goal. And the final was set between Dad's team and mine.
Well, Dad, either way, we'll be leaving Africa
Yes.
at the end of this next 2-legged tie, because we have somehow got to the final of the Champions League in Africa and we're playing against each other.
This could be good.
Oh yeah,
This
the
could be
semi-finals. I mean, I'm quite surprised Al Ali didn't get as far as what they did,
yeah.
but hey, that's because knocked him out along the way.
Yes.
I'll take that, absolutely.
Well
Wydad Casablanca.
I mean, your favourites then, really, if you're beating them, but I'll beat
Sundowns.
Sundowns. So
Yeah.
So that was the 2 teams in last year's final.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So yeah.
It is all or nothing on this. And to be honest, we're qualifying for it again next year. It doesn't matter because, of course, one of us will win it. And this is basically whoever wins it first gets that trophy. We're not doing a both win the competition.
No.
This is a Pentagon challenge where it's best out of 5. So whoever wins it gets the first of 3 that they need to win of the Champions Leagues. We still can't win the Egyptian League. No. Al Ali is still really good.
I honestly felt I was going to do them this season.
Yeah.
I got close to them last season. But I thought I was going to do them this season, but nope.
Jesterop is still the manager as well.
And it's been annoying really because a couple of times they've had like a bad start or something like that, and you think, oh, this could be the season that he gets sacked, I think, and you're just waiting for him. They didn't sack him. They've stayed loyal to him, so well done.
And some of their players as well.
Yeah.
Look how good some of their players are. It's unbelievable. So we have been up against it really, but they're knocked out. We've got each other in the final.
That's it.
Now, players that we have been sort of like using a lot. I mean, you can see how much our teams are struggling. We're about to play the final as well, so we're going to be playing players who are knackered, but still. Fajari, who I've been playing, who is Tunisian striker, has really come into the team and done quite well. So more of like a target forward, 6'4", and I've adapted the tactic for that. He is a target forward in here, and I've been trying to play him as much as possible throughout the other rounds because he wasn't registered for the group stage, unfortunately. But he is registered now, so that's good. But we've got a very young team, and I think both of us have managed to do that, where we've built these young teams. I mean, my best player is a 4.5-star 20-year-old for Nigeria. He looks absolutely insane.
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
He looks so good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those players where I'm like, wherever I go next, should I try and sign him?
You're thinking, looking for him, really.
Yeah, because he's that good. Ahmed, so very lazy from his parents, but he's exactly the same. Very good.
His father was called the same name,
Yeah, a very good Egyptian player that come through the youth academy.
Yeah.
So again, really happy with that. And you had exactly the same, Dad. You had a couple of youngsters in your team who were your best players. And if you're looking at it in terms of the best quality of players, you've got a 21-year-old Reynoso you've had for a couple of seasons, developed really well.
Yeah.
He's been like your second best player. And then, of course, you've got Gaston Suare, who you've only just bought, a mentally unbelievable defensive midfielder.
Really good, doesn't he? Yeah.
So the midfield battle is going to be an interesting one for this upcoming two-legged affair. But it's all down to this. The African Champions League final will be played between me and Dad to claim the first trophy in the Pentagon Challenge. And once it's won, none of us can go back to it.
No.
1 out of the 3 that is needed to win before we go on to the next one. And the next continent is the CONCACAF North America Champions League. So let's see who wins this first one.
The final was across 2 legs, and with the first being played at my ground, the place was silenced by Dad's 20th minute goal. However, we soon enough got ourselves back into the game and managed to equalise through Rafai's header. The young Egyptian attacking midfielder then managed to bag an assist when he found the new striker Fajari to take the lead in the tie. 2 more goals went in on the either side of the half-time, and Dad couldn't believe what he was seeing, and a big second leg was needed from his boys. With the second leg being played at Dad's Stadium, it could still be on, however, despite being 4-1 down, with both sides fielding very strong teams. But it was almost over immediately, as with just 9 minutes on the clock, Ishmael down the left once again caused trouble, and Tembele scored 5-1. And just minutes later, disaster for Dad again, as again patient play led to an opening down the right this time, and Fajari was found to make it 6-1. Dad did manage to pull a few goals back though, and even won the game on the night 3-2, but my lead never looked in jeopardy, and we were crowned winners of the African Champions League. And with that, the first stage of the Pentagon Challenge is complete, and the first trophy has been claimed. How will Dad react as we go to the next continent, which will be North America and the CONCACAF Champions League?